Hey y'all, it's Megan and we're sewing this adorable bow shoulder bag today. It is fully lined and there are no closers, just a little tie. And then the straps you can tie in a bow like this, or you can tie them in a knot like this one here. We're going to go ahead and get started. You need to cut two small ties, and I've gone ahead and prepped mine by pressing them like bias tape, but we'll go over that later. You also need two bow strap pieces, and you want to have interfacing on this piece. I just add the interfacing or the fusible fleece before I cut. One bottom bag in your main fabric. This one will need fusible fleece. And then you need two main bags with fusible fleece in your main fabric. You also need one bottom bag in your lining. This one has interfacing. And then you need two main bags in your lining, again with some interfacing. If you don't add the interfacing and the fusible fleece, if you don't have any on hand and you really want to make it, your bag is just going to be a lot more floppy and not have much structure. The first step is going to be to fold your bow piece in half, right sides together, and we are going to stitch it along the diagonal end and all the way down the long end with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Once you have that sewn, then you can clip your corners, and you can also trim down these seam allowances if you like. I use my pinking shears. Since this piece does have interfacing on it, I don't want my seams to be too bulky. So I just go ahead and trim it down with my pinking shears, and then I'm going to use my tube turner to flip it right side out. Once I have it right side out, I'm going to give it a nice press and then repeat all those steps with the other strap piece and go ahead and set those aside. Next, we're going to work on our small center ties. So you're going to want to press the one short end a 1/4 inch toward the wrong side, and then press it like you're making bias. So press it in half to create a crease, and then press the long ends towards the center. Press it one more time to enclose the seams, and then we're going to edge stitch it down the short edge that we pressed to the wrong side and all the way down the long edge. And you're going to do that with both center tie pieces. And then again, go ahead and set those aside. Now we're going to attach the bottom bag to one main bag piece. So you want to find the center of your main bag by just folding it in half and putting a clip there. Same with the bottom bag piece. Find that center and then put a clip there. You're going to lay one main bag flat with the right sides up, and you're going to flip the bottom bag so it is right sides together, matching those center pieces. And you're going to clip it together. I like to start along the bottom edge, and then I'm going to clip it matching at the top, so the top of the bottom bag to the main bag. And I'm going to start from the top and clip it down. When you get to the curved edge, we are going to clip into the curve so it can help ease in just about 1/8 of an inch. You don't want to clip in too far because the seam allowance is 3/8 of an inch here. So just a little bit to help you ease that bottom bag into the curve, just like this. And then you're going to place a pin and you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So again, I like to start from the top and then work my way down to the curve, clipping that bottom bag at the curve edge and then pinning it all in place. Once this is all pinned, you're going to stitch the bottom bag to the main bag, again with a 3/8 inch seam allowance, all the way around. When you're stitching and you get to the curves, just ease it in and go slow, making sure that the edges all match up. Once it's stitched together, then you want to clip into these curves so that they're nice and smooth. I like to use my pinking shears for this step. And then you're going to do the same thing with the other main bag. You're going to pin the other side of the bottom bag to the other main bag piece, clip into those curves, and then stitch it together with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Again, once you have that all sewn, then you're going to go ahead and trim your seam down. Again, I like to use my pinking shears for this step and then give your bag a nice press. So set that main bag aside and we're going to work on our lining pieces now. So I have the lining bottom bag and one lining main bag. And for one side, you're going to sew it exactly the same as you did the main fabric pieces. So you're going to put it together and you're going to sew the entire bottom bag to the main bag on the lining pieces using a 3/8 inch seam allowance and then trimming those seams. And then when you go to attach the other side, we want to leave an opening at the bottom of the bag. So you're going to sew it together, but leave a 3 or 4 inch opening on the bottom straight edge so that we can flip our bag right sides out later. Once you have this attached, then you're going to want to again clip those corners and trim the seam everywhere except at that unsewn opening that we left in the bottom of the bag. Do not trim your seam allowance here. You're actually going to want to press this unsewn portion 3/8 inch to the wrong side of the fabric. Okay, go ahead and set your lining bag aside for a moment and grab your main bag. Find the center top edge of that main bag and you're going to pin the unsewn side of your center small tie, one on each side. Then grab your strap so we can also pin it in place. You're taking the unsewn flat edge and you're going to match the edge of the strap to the seam on the bag and do the same on this side. So where the bottom bag meets the main bag on each side is where your strap is going to go. Then with this excess fabric in the middle, you're just going to create a small pleat so that the strap fits into place. Once you have these all pinned, both straps and both center ties, then you are going to baste them in place about a 1/4 inch from the edge. So this is what it should look like. Just baste all these straps and ties onto your main bag. You're going to tuck the ties and the straps out of the way on your main bag. Just kind of wrap them around. Have your main bag right side out, and then you're going to grab your lining bag and you are going to flip it wrong side out. Place your main bag inside of your lining bag so they are right sides together. Make sure all your straps and ties are down, and you are going to pin this together, matching all of the seams and easing the tops into place. And once you have everything pinned, then we are going to sew the two bags together, the lining to the main, with a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Once you have everything sewn, again, you want to clip into those curves and trim the seam so it's not bulky. So once again, I use my pinking shears here to trim that seam down. And then you're going to flip the entire bag right side out through that opening we left in the bottom of the lining bag. Once you have it flipped right side out, then we just need to close the opening. You can do this with a hand stitch or your sewing machine. And then you are almost done. You're going to stick the lining inside of the main bag. And it's really important here to take your time pressing the bag. You want to press it all along the top so the lining is nice and tucked in into the main bag. You also want to use a pressing ham or extra fabric or a towel rolled up into the bag, and you're going to press all of the seams and all of the curves so that they're nice and smooth. If you wanted to, you could top stitch around the top of the bag. I chose not to. I like the look of it without the top stitching, but then your bag is complete. Again, you can wear this tied in a bow or tied in a knot at your shoulder. And as always, if you make a bag, we would love to see it posted in our Facebook group or tag us on Instagram at Made for Mermaids, hashtag Made for Mermaids Patterns.